G'day, today we're gearing up for a ride. I'm going to run you through some of the safety gear I choose to wear, why I wear it, some of the injuries I've had in the past and how it could have been avoided with more of that stuff. Let's get into it. First up, skins. I choose to wear these Alpine Star ones, not only because they smell good, but they stick to your legs nicely and stop the knee pads and everything moving around and sliding down when you're riding. So, big must these guys. Alpine Star make them. They are called something or other. Really good. Rightio, next up, knee guards. I choose to run EVS Travis Pastrana 199. I like these because they're flexible in the kneecap. It's that stuff that's flexible when you move slowly, but if you hit it hard, it goes hard. This one is custom. I've got a big hole in my leg here if you haven't noticed. That's from a unorthodox fireworks experiment. I just custom sewed this bit on the top, which is very flogged out. All the stitching's come off. I've got to make some new ones. I'll just like to keep a bit of protection on my leg there because obviously it's a sensitive area and there's not as much muscle to protect the bone. So this helps to, if something hits it, disperse the pressure a little more evenly. And yes, I'm going to get on to making some new ones. Next up is my Alpine Stars padded shorts. I wear these not only to help hold my knee pads up, but they have a lot of padded protection in them. And I find most big crashes, you're taking big impacts to your hips. If you're doing a tuck and roll, your hip's gonna be tagging the ground. So as much padding as you can get on there, the better. Rightio, next up, pants. I'm pretty picky about the pants that I wear. I like them to be nice and comfortable, stretchy, especially for freestyle when you're moving your legs around and moving around on the bike a lot. You want them to be quite stretchy. I find these Thor ones are great. Plenty of stretch in there so you can move around, but there's also plenty of padding on the inside of the knee here where you're gripping the bike, which is another must, otherwise you get blisters on the inside of your knees pretty quick. And there's reasonable protection on the side here when you're taking a sample. Next up, boots. I have ran Alpine Stars forever. In my opinion, they are the best boot there is. I like the Tech 7s because they're a little smaller than the Tech 10s. I ran Tech 10s for many years, but I find they're a much heavier boot. So for freestyle motocross, when you're trying to get your feet through the handlebars or kick them out the side, that extra kilo on each foot makes it much more difficult to move around. So I choose the Tech 7s. I think that the level of protection you get from the Tech 7 opposed to the Tech 10 is very similar. They're not quite as stiff, but they still have a lot of side-to-side support, and they're all around a really good quality boot. Next up, chest plate. I like to use the Alpine Star A1. This is a nice little chest plate that goes underneath your jersey, so it's not bulky. It doesn't have any big roost deflectors on the shoulders here, so it sits nice under the jersey, gives it a lot of protection. You've got a wide surface on your front there to disperse the pressure if a handlebar hits it, or on the back, again, nice and wide, covering all the vitals here. Next up, jersey. Not only is this thing a walking, talking billboard, it is very durable on the side here. So it's going to stop grazes if you go down. Elbows are normally something that's going to tag the ground pretty hard. If you're not into getting grazed up, this is definitely going to help the cause. Also, this model of Thor gear is super stretchy. I really like that. For freestyle, you can move around, you're comfortable, you're not rigid and locked up. If you're interested in having this bad guy on your wall, comment below and we might just chuck it to you. Rightio, next up, most important piece of the puzzle, the helmet. I choose to wear Bell. All safety gear, I go with what I think is the most safest gear out there, not whatever I get the best deal from. And for me, with the helmet, that's Bell. Monster do these guys for me. AP paints them up and he does a magnificent job. He spends, I don't want to know how much time drawing on these things and making them that pretty. Another important thing to think about with your helmet is how tight you should do your chin strap. Now, if you're wearing a nice high quality helmet, I feel you can afford to do your chin strap a little bit looser than being up snug, nice and tight. The reason for this, I had a crash one time where I got knocked out with my head in a face down position. I used to run a really tight helmet strap and the helmet actually choked me out. By the time anyone got to me, I was blue in the face, wasn't breathing for a couple of minutes. So I like to run it just loose enough to where it's going to avoid the helmet flying off if you had a big accident, but it's not that tight where if you do get knocked out in that head down position where it's actually going to choke you out. So one to think about, make your own call there. Okay, you want to be able to see what you're doing, and I choose to wear 100%. These guys have a nice frame, fits inside the helmet really well. Plenty of protection here from, I'm not getting roosted, but from a lever or anything that's going to go in. You do not want anything in your eye because you've only got two. So if you hit one, you'll only have one. So write that down. And gloves. I choose something that has a small amount of padding in the hand because I really like to feel what the bike's doing. I feel if you've got a really thick palm, you can't feel the grip or the vibration of the engine and can't really feel what's happening. So I choose to run something nice and thin in the palm. If you're doing off-road or motocross, you might want a thicker palm to help with blisters and stuff. Rightio guys, that's safety gear rep. That's what I choose to wear and why. If you've got any better ideas, make sure you put them in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. Every day is a school day. Make sure you subscribe for the next video.